know what I mean? But enough of the music quickly, yeah? Like, you said you went to uni in America.
Yeah.
That's so dope. What was that like?
I had a great time.
What was that like, bro? I didn't forget that, you know.
Work hard, play hard.
Yeah.
It was a good
Where were you?
balance. I was in Philly at the University of Pennsylvania.
Okay.
Yeah,
Philly.
So it was it was a great time. I got very involved in different things, you know, socially, extracurricular activities.
Was it a very diverse uni? Sorry to cut you off. In the demographic of people.
I would say so relatively.
Okay.
It was.
Yeah.
But still, you know, obviously a predominantly white institution. I think that's called like PWI. But there was definitely a healthy pocket of diversity, let's say.
Yeah.
And I was very involved in the African Student Association. I was the president for 2 years, social chair before that, so very active in that scene. And in fact, that actually got me into, well, briefly back into music, into Afro beats, because at the time it was just really like Wizkid was just coming up with like Superstar, Davido was just coming, so like that helped inspire me to really get more knowledgeable about it. But yeah, I was very involved in in different activities there. Even started a band, or was part of a hip hop neo soul band back when I was also on the mic. And yeah, got to DJ some pretty dope events, opening acts.
Nice.
But yeah, no, it was a great experience. I had a great time, great memories. Met some very interesting people. Yeah.
Okay. Wow. I mean,
learned a lot as well.
Yeah, we got the degree, we got the job done.
Yeah.
We got the job done. I like that. What were you studying, by the way?
I was studying international relations.
Okay.
That was my major, and then I minored in French and African studies as well.
Nice.
So I actually took Swahili for a year.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Nasema kidogo tu.
Kidogo tu. Kasoma Kiswahili kidogo tu. Eh? Well, this. You know, it's so funny. I've always found it interesting how like Ugandans completely disregard Swahili. Like, it's not, I mean, obviously it's historic, whatever, but it's like they don't even like they don't even care about Swahili. It's not even a thing to them. I find it hilarious.
It's sort of like,
but then it also makes them very proud of their own culture and language. I'm saying they're like, you know, Ugandan, but you know what I'm saying, like I find that they are more proud of what like their culture is and their languages and everything like that. So I know it's both sides of the coin.
It's not. I mean, it's not a rejection of Africanness, right?
100%.
But yeah, I think that historically, the Swahili in the Ugandan context has been sort of associated with soldiers.
Oh, okay.
I think that back in the day, it was a language that was used to sort of unify, like, let's say an army, because it was like a lingua franca, a language that brought them together. But you know, more recently, I think, you know, Luganda, for example, is a language that is more sort of widely spoken, even though it's just from one region. It happens to be the region, the Buganda region, which is where the capital sits, right? Okay. So that, I think, you know, in the process has made it more commonly spoken as an African, or, you know, I'm not gonna say local, as an indigenous, you know, language. No, but we still appreciate Swahili, and actually, I think there's Swahili as sort of, you know, embedded into some of the slang, and
I mean the curriculum now apparently is also kind of endorsing it. So that's.
I mean, I'm all for Swahili unifying more African people, if that's what it is. I mean,
I feel like language is a big It's a big unifier. It's a big unifier for communities, and especially communities that have been so intentionally split apart and spread and whatever else. Like, language is one uniting factor. Obviously music and culture and things like that. But yeah, language kind of supersedes so much, because, you know, someone that speaks your language, man, it's just there's nothing like it. You know what I mean? There's a certain someone that's beyond just English. Yeah, we speak English, but no.
There's a Nelson Mandela quote. I don't remember it word for word, but it says something about, you know, when you speak to someone in a language you have in common, something about, you know, okay, they understand you, you know, you're sort of speaking to their mind, but if you speak to them in their language, then you're speaking to their heart.
Yes.
Yeah, so I think that came to mind when you're saying that.
Yeah. Language is key. But so you did uni in America. Was it a typical, American? Woo, let's party! Yeah, spring break.
I mean, I was in a fraternity, so I guess it was.
What's that fraternity thing as well? What's all that about? Like, what's going on there? What's that?
I mean, it's I mean,
what's the idea behind the fraternities? Like, we just
community, man.
Okay.
It's community, brotherhood. I mean, what it's like now, or even like when I was there, I think is very different to what it was like when they were first established. And also, thinking of the diversity, it's definitely changed. At least a lot of them have changed. As back in the day, they were probably all exclusively white males, right? And this was, speaking of just like fraternities, eventually I think sororities were also started, which was more like sisterhoods, right?
Yes.
But speaking of fraternities, I happened to have chosen or been inducted into a very diverse one. My fraternity specifically, was very multicultural, had, people of African descent.
You don't have gang signs or anything? Any stomps?
I had a secret handshake. No, but I wasn't in one of those. No, those are like black fraternities, right?
Yeah.
No,
so those for like HBCUs mainly?
Well, no, we had black fraternities on our campus. They're not just at HBCUs, but they have more of those norms and sort of customs of stomping and even like the outfits that they wear. Some even get branded.
Cold though, man. I like that.
Yeah. I had friends who were in those fraternities, but I ended up in one of more mainstream ones that happened to be very multicultural and diverse. So people from Asian backgrounds, from Arab backgrounds, from Latin America, and then obviously also a lot of white fraternity brothers. And I think through that, it was a great space for me to learn about the country, the American culture, but then also American culture through like the diversity of America, right? Because it is a diverse country, right? And so the American experience of a white guy is quite different, or very different, to the American experience of an Asian guy or a black guy. And so I had brothers from these different sort of cultures.
That's interesting. Okay.
And for me, it was also just a space. Like I had a base that was a very social base with a lot of different people in the house. Where I could leave my nest, in quote unquote, and go and mingle with other people and experience other things, and return to this very social environment.
Makes sense.
So in a sense, it was also very practical for me also to just have that community as a base during my time in school. But people do develop like lifelong friendships in the process. I think me leaving the US shortly after I finished school maybe sort of impacted me, staying very close to most of my brothers, but I do maintain some good relations with a few of them.
Okay.
Yeah, but it was a great social experiment for me, and just to learn, to get to sample it, because I also knew that I wasn't. You only get to really do it once.
Yeah.
I was quite a social butterfly, so I was like, let me just sample this. And
what's up?
Yeah,
I like that, man. It's dope, because I do admire like in students who like leave their country to go and explore elsewhere. Like it's a brave thing to do. You know what I mean? So big up yourself for doing that, man. And then also like then moving here. You know what I mean? Was that something that was in the plans, in the works, or just kind of decided to come?
Well, I moved here for school as well, to do my second degree, to do my master's degree.
Yeah, you told me that.
That was very intentional. It's not something that I sort of had in mind specifically when I finised in the US. There is quite a gap between the US and me moving here.
Okay.
But I was living in Kigali in Rwanda before moving here, and at a certain point, I was working, and at a certain point, it's like, okay, you do sort of feel some, pressure from your parents. Okay, when you going to do your second degree, your master's degree? Because they may have certain expectations, and will want to see that their child has achieved certain things that will enable them to succeed or to do well for themselves. So I did take some time to really think about what I wanted to study, right, and not just like do it just to tick a box. And given my creative background, whether it was being a DJ or being a curator, cultural programmer, I thought that it was a no-brainer for me to study cultural and creative industries as a master's, CCIs. And I just felt like, after doing some research, I just felt like there was no better place than London to really study that, and not only study it in the classroom, but study it outside of the classroom. See it in real time. In real time, 100%. Really immerse myself in the cultural and creative industries in this city. And, I'm glad that I took that leap and made the transition. There's really no regrets with that. Nice. I've learned so much both in and out of the classroom. Nice. There's just a lot. It's such a culturally vibrant city. I mean, every city has its pros and cons, and yes, I'm aware of the of some of the cons of living here, but the pros in terms of cultural enrichment that you can experience if you are curious enough.
You have to seek it out.
You have to seek it out as well. It's and so you can really design a very culturally enriching experience for yourself.
Yeah, no, you're right. You have to, especially coming like to do your postgrad, because undergrad you're young, you're whatever. So postgrad, you have to kind of seek out the communities and seek out this different things and different people. But then I feel like London naturally offers that. If you want it, you can find it around any corner. You find so much like culture enrichment. So I mean, it's amazing that you've kind of ended up going on that journey, and then ended up in London. And obviously that's when we met a couple of years ago. So what's been London been like for you? How's it been treating you so far?
I mean, when it comes to music, when it comes to food, I've had a blast just traveling the world in one city. I've connected with a lot of very interesting people, especially in the music space, even more broadly in the cultural sector. I've had the chance to DJ at some great events, to start my own sort of events or parties with some dope DJs, and also got the chance to sort of tap into or sort of build a community out here for my platform, Pineapple Undertones. Starting off with people who I already knew, family and friends who were already familiar with my profile as a DJ and the work I was doing with Pineapple Undertones, but it's sort of grown from that through their circles and through meeting other people through the different gigs that I've done. And it's an exciting space to test out different ideas, because I think that London, as a scene, there are a lot of people who are just very open to different experiences. And being here, I think also while African culture or African content's becoming more and more cool or interesting is also quite great. I mean,
perfect timing, isn't it?
Yeah, seeing. I mean, Afrobeats has been rising, but then even seeing how Amapiano has been really rising in this scene, and now trying to see how East Africa can sort of do the same. No, it's been quite enlightening. And beyond the music, even the food, I'll just say. No, I mean, like, listen, I just love exploring different cuisines. I love that. It's not just like about eating for eating's sake.
Forget the degree, forget everything else. We're here for the food, man.
No, like, listen, I like the fact that I could just travel the world through all these different restaurants, and you don't need you do not need to go to the same place twice.
Nah, all you need is an Oyster card.
An Oyster card, yes. An Oyster card and like TikTok maybe, just to learn to discover all these different places, and then create a never-ending list.
Do you have a like a favorite East African spot?
Ooh, Exceline. Exceline. You know, because that just tastes like home. It feels like home. My grandmother had a restaurant in Kampala growing up. Shout out to Pearl Restaurant, Nomo Gallery. Those who know. But you know, like the buffet with the staples, you know, like that's Exceline pretty much has the same sort of staples in their buffet, and so it really takes me back in that sense. So it really just makes
food is banging as well.
Yeah, it's banging, man. It's banging. Yeah. So I think I'd say East African, that's definitely my go-to.
Okay, yeah, I up there for me as well, definitely. Up there for me as well. And then I guess so we I guess also in terms of culturally, I had a question and I'm trying to think of it and it's gone completely. Something to do with culture in London. It'll come back. Okay. In the meantime, I'll move on to like you being a DJ.
Yeah.
So like, was that something you said your parents bought you a controller? Have you always DJ'd?
Yeah.
So always like love music and then fell into DJing?
So yeah, love music first and foremost. You know, shout out to MTV, to Channel O, to
Channel O. Okay.
I mean, yeah. So I mean, I grew up on the continent, and I'd say, like in Cote d'Ivoire, even in Tunisia, we had like access to DSTV.
I'm not familiar with Channel O. Okay.
So Channel O is a South African music channel.
We had Channel U here.
Okay, so
that's why I was like Channel O. Okay.
No, yeah, Channel O was on DSTV, which is a South African like cable.
network. DSTV.
Yeah, I'm sure you had that like in Kenya.
Yeah.
So it used to be multi-choice, then it became DSTV. But so they had Channel O and then even different MTVs. And, you know, I used to spend a lot of time just glued to the TV, watching all these music videos, and just singing along.
Do you have a favorite music video that sticks out in mind?
That's a good one.
On MTV? Because I feel like, for me, one that always sticks out is maybe like Jay-Z and Pharrell. Fronting.
Or Change Clothes.
No, Fronting. Okay. Definitely.
That's a great track. What song
such a cool video
sticks out?
And even like, there was some great videos, man. When videos are actually
in
stories.
The club kind of sticks out.
Because
you see like him doing pull-ups.
That's a legacy video.
You know?
Yeah, 100% in the club, 100%.
Yeah.
And that was on rotation 24/7.
Yeah. See, that's one that definitely jumps out for me.
That's a good one.
But yeah, so you know, music from a young age, whether the music video, so through consuming music through mainstream media, but then again. Both of my parents, and you know, they sort of had diverse black musical taste. So my father, as I mentioned earlier, a lot of sort of Pan-Africanism, his Pan-African palette, right? Whereas my mother, who had grown up in Canada, was more into like black music from the US. It's like Lionel Richie. For example, like she'd play a lot of Lionel Richie in the car. And then bought me Legend, the Bob Marley compilation album, and that really did a number on me. That really did a number on me.
There's one album to set the tone of your life.
Yeah, because then I wanted to play the guitar. Then you know I wanted to start performing those songs. But then even got into, you know, some more like soft rock, like Coldplay. And so Coldplay and Bob Marley were like the two types of, you know, songs, or the two acts that I'd play a lot on the guitar. So picked up the guitar. I learned. I know how to play the guitar. I haven't played it as much in a while, but that was my first main instrument. Then I was in the choir as well, as I mentioned. But then I would also make CD mixes for my friends, special friends. My mom even. I'd make CD mixes for people I was close to, and I enjoyed thinking about what kind of songs they would enjoy, like curating their listening experience, right? Yeah. So really, I think that's where DJing really started, because from that point, I think some people would be like, oh, why don't you just like play the music at a party, right? And so then I started shadowing the school DJ, and eventually just took over. So became the school DJ.
Come on.
My last year of high school, my father bought me my first controller. Shout out to him. And yeah, from there I just kept going with it. Really obsessed with it. Explored different sounds, genres. When I first started out in uni, I was into like progressive house, like Hardwell, Avicii, Tiesto. Okay. But then discovered Selection.
Oof, yes.
So I discovered Selection in uni. They came and did a show at my uni, and I discovered them through SoundCloud, I guess. Yeah, so SoundCloud did a lot to sort of shape my taste, especially through platforms like Selection. Yeah. Really to diversify my palette and to make me more curious and open. Like I said, the London scene is in many ways just open to different sounds, alternative sounds. But then, towards the end of uni, hearing, these Afrobeats artists sort of on the come up, I was like, yes, our people are starting to, gain prominence and doing a lot of interesting stuff. And so then it's just been a fusion of especially of the Selection and like the Afrobeats and the house sort of sounds. And I think that, obviously I noticed that African music was starting to gain more traction and more attention. And being the musical nerd that I I still am, I wanted to create a space for me to express that, and to channel it in a way. And so that really led to me creating a platform called Pineapple Undertones. Nice. Which really just seeks to nurture, celebrate, and elevate African music and the cultures around it. And enable people to tap into their inner musical nerds. And as I mentioned earlier, to really inspire consumers of music to go from being passive listeners to active listeners, engaged participants in the culture. And so through Pineapple Undertones, we're really building a community of like-minded people in that sense. So it's more than just the DJ mixes on Mixcloud or the events. It's really about tapping into these different people that support the platform, support the brand, and getting them to also inspiring them or encouraging them to also contribute, because we want to create that space for more to really feel like they want to take part in the community, and because again, it takes a community to really build our industry.
100%. That community word keeps coming back, and I love that, because that's it takes a village, it takes community. So that's all that's all we have, and we're the only ones we have. Like, we don't have anyone else, so we're gonna have to work together and build a community. So you're right about that. And it's funny you mentioned about like your journey through music, from like progressive house and into Afrobeats and stuff, because I do hear that, and I think your mixes as well, like your mashups and refixes and stuff like that are very interesting, like in the sense that they seem very intentional. And even though when you create your playlist and stuff like that, so are you very intentional in the sense when you're putting out the music that you're creating and the mix that you're creating, or is it just wherever your heart takes you? Is it something you think about a lot, or is it just whatever I'm feeling right now, I'll just put it together?
No, I definitely think there's definitely a lot of thought that goes into it, but also a lot of feeling. Okay. I think the two sort of work hand in hand for me. Okay. in terms of thought, I mean that's really where curation comes in. Like you can't really curate something if you're not thinking intentionally about it.
Yeah.
And so, you know, with the Pineapple Undertones platform, you know, there are a series of different mixes, right? That we have now at this point. There's an Afropop in series, which, you know, focuses on Afropop and, you know, what the sort of Afropop sound like according to us, you know, at Pineapple Undertones, and sort of being a tastemaker in that sense. Mama's House, you know, explores more of African house, and more recently, obviously, more of a focus on Amapiano.
Yeah.
But you know, that sort of subgenre, I would say, of like electronic African music, dance music.
Yeah.
You know, then you have rhythm and boo, that's more in focused on dance hall and sort of rhythms and how, you know, that's inspired or influenced African artists sort of making those kind of sounds. East Side Love Song, more recently, hopefully starting a new series documenting, you know, the rise of alternative R&B in East Africa. Hook and Bass focuses on African trap and African drill, so sort of hip hop culture in African spaces. So those are all sort of thought out, because it's like, okay, you've sort of created a little like an identity for a genre within or like a flavor within the Pineapple Undertones musical like universe, but it's like a way of sort of documenting musical trends, right? But there's the thought that goes into sort of defining the concept, the parameters, but then there's a lot of feeling that comes from, okay, you're listening through different music. Like I listen to music every day, obviously, and as I listen to music, whether old or new, I'm sort of compartmentalizing
in what subgenre
into different mixes. But it's a combination of, I know that this is a rapper, so I'm already thinking about whether this should be in the next. This can be in the next Hook and Bass mix, but then comes the feeling about like,
is it really a rap song though?
No, I mean it could be a rap song, but like, am I really feeling it on this next mix? Because there's so much, you know, you can choose from, but then you have to.
So that's where the feeling comes in, the gut instinct.
Yeah, it's like, am I really? Is this really fitting with this vibe that I'm going for this latest mix?
Yeah.
But there's quite a bit of method to the madness as well, and you know, just like sequencing tracks. When I started playing with CDJs when I moved to London, I learned more about mixing in key to make sure that you have like very harmonious transitions. So that's an element that I added into the mixes since, you know, moving here. So there's, again, that's more like thought that goes into it. But then when you think of visuals, so the artwork, for example, a lot of that is also just like feeling, and not always like, you know, thought. And, you know, those that I work with to design and execute, sometimes, you know, a lot of time I just give them the freedom. They do their thing. I look at it, feel like, whoa, this feels good.
Right. It feels right.
This feels right.
And
then you go with it.
It's some things you can't describe. They just feel this feeling. I like that because you in the East Side Love Song mix, it flows harmoniously. Like it's beautifully like created and put together. And also even the skit. Was that My Moon?
Interlude,
The interlude, sorry. Yeah. I like that, adding that vibe. It gives me like an old school mix vibe. You know, old school mixes, they used to have like skits and interludes and stuff like that. And DJs don't really do that too much, so I like that, man. It added a nice vibe to it. And go check it out, man. Like the mix it's a nice entry point to hear about what's happening in East Africa, especially in the R&B scene, more specifically in the R&B scene, alternative R&B and rap and stuff. It's a very nice entry into that, and then after that, you know, you can Shazam and Discover and Spotify, all these people. Are you on Spotify, by the way?
Spotify, you Pineapple Undertones, We have a Feel Good Friday playlist that we curate.
You need to get your thingy out, by the way. You're Wrapped. I want to check out your rap. have you got it? But yeah, sorry, go on. Finish plugging the playlist and stuff.
Feel Good Friday, Feel Good Friday playlist. We curate twice a year actually. So we build it up over a period of 10 weeks, 10 tracks per week, building up to 100 songs, one leading up to sort of halfway through the year, and the other leading up to the end of the year. So we're now in the season leading up to the end of the year. And I work with the Pineapple Undertones team. So we're three that co-curated, nice. 2 DJs and 1 playlist curator. Nice. Shout out to Rugs, shout out to Nicole Nick's Picks.
Come on.
So we each contribute 3 tracks per week, and then this season we've invited a guest contributor each week, a different guest each week to contribute 1 track. I like that. So that makes 10 per week, and so we'll have 10 guests this season, which would then result in 10 favorite African tracks that they share, 10 favorite African artists of the year. Yeah. And so that's more content for us to sort of co-curate with them. Yeah. So excited about that.
That's a great idea, by the way. That's dope. Yeah.
Yeah, it's it's again, as I said, community building. So 100%. It's really part of what we're sort of this new phase for Pineapple Undertones. We're really looking at different ways that we can collectively cultivate the culture, as a community.
Cultivate the culture.
Collectively cultivating culture. Yes. Yeah. Triple C's.
Come on, man. Triple C's. You know where we at. I love that. And then, we're going to do the rap. Spotify rap. Have you got yours? Cool. All right. So I'll let me check my Spotify playlist. Before that, I'll just let you know about our newsletter. So we got the SAUTI and MASHARIKI newsletter. So that's on our Substack. So you can check it out, substack.com/SAUTI and MASHARIKI. We'll have like different writers on there. It's essentially all around East African music and culture. But we'll have like every 2 weeks we'll have a different writer, editorial pieces, and we're gonna grow that platform. We got something coming for next year on that SAUTI and MASHARIKI platform. So just subscribe, like, share, all them good things there. You get me? And then we'll let you know what's coming next year, man. You know what I'm saying? Because as we're saying, it's looking good, man. Next year's looking very, very good. We've got a big solid foundation to build on from this year. Moving into next year. Have you got it up? I feel like I kind of know, man, but it's got this stupid long story you have to wait for.
Yeah, no, I can give you the, what's it called? The top artists. But yeah, no, I laugh because my number one is
no, what is it?
I think you know who it is.
No.
You know who it is.
Oh my days.
You want to take a guess?
Jeez. I don't know if I want to,
It's not like that. It's not like
that. Nah, wait. What? Kelly?
No.
Okay.
That guy is cancelled in my church. Not that kind of like.
I went to the further spectrum. Alright, cool. Say no more. I'll bring it back a bit. I don't know to bring it back to you.
It's like a running like joke. It's like no.
Okay.
It's just like a running joke. Like how does he keep getting into everyone's?
Oh, it's juicy.
Yeah, that's number one.
Yeah,
I mean, listen. I know I'm pushing this whole Pan-African, pineapple or something, but Drake. But I'll say Maui Moon and even La Soul Child ended up in my top 5. And for those of you who don't know, that's the same person. Maui Moon is the singer-songwriter, and La Soul Child is the producer.
Oh my days! I didn't even know that.
Same human being. Okay. And I'm a very big fan of his, and it's honestly like a privilege to call him a friend. Yeah. He dropped a really, really incredible project this year from Uganda with Love. Yes. Which as a Ugandan, I'm very proud of, but it's not even just about it being a friend's project or a Ugandan artist project that I'm promoting just for the sake of it, it's actually quality music. I've been following him for many years now. Actually, an interesting story about how we met the first time. Where I was living in Rwanda in Kigali, and I was following him on SoundCloud. At the time, he was still mainly a producer as the Soul Child, and I'd seen he had a Rwandan flag in his bio, and so I just decided one day to send him a DM and be like, hey, I live in Kigali. If you're ever around, just hit me up. I'd love to, to connect and show you a good time. I'm a DJ out here, blah, blah, blah. So man's responds the day that he lands in Kigali. Imagine.
Really? Oh.
He's like, yo, I just landed in Kigali.
I'm here now.
Like, I don't know what, like...
What?
How I sensed that the guy was on his way or just arriving. But I just something told me to send him the message. So then he replies, and then he ends up coming to one of my gigs. And then we went studio. I connected him with some artists. Shout out Mike Kaihura, Angel Mutoni,
yes,
Mucho Sounds.
Big names.
Back then we're also like working on music together as a little collective yard sale.
Okay.
But from even that moment, he started collaborating with Mucho Sounds. There's the track on East Side Love Song called Surface, just before the first interlude that they both feature on. So shout out Tangaza for also sort of, getting them together with Iken as well.
Big up Iken, another bubbling legend.
So it's crazy how that happened. We just connected like that, and then just stayed in touch. He was, sending me exclusives, and I'd give him some feedback. And it grew into a friendship, and we've been keeping in touch, and now we're just on the same mission to really push East Africa to the world. Now seeing it sort of come to the point where he's done these two interludes on East Side Love Song,
and check out his colors, by the way.
Groove with me,
amazing.
And he's helped introduce me to some more artists from the region. He's also also dropping some more sounds or some more projects in the upcoming year to really push this R&B, alternative R&B sound, R&B sound. It's so it makes a lot of sense that he's in my Wrapped. There's also Ashake. 2 times. So that's 3 spots. Then Ashake, with Work of Art coming. I mean, Ashake, I think he's probably there because of Lonely at the Top.
Lonely.
Alone. I have rinsed that track, man.
What do you think of the remix?
I think it's nice.
Okay,
cool. I think it's nice.
Yeah, it's dope.
It's dope. It's dope.
The original is just it's a beautiful
league of its own.
Done well.
And then finally, Amare.
Okay, nice.
Amare is in my top 5 as well. In my top 5 Wrapped, and I'm a big fan. I've been a big fan of Amare for a few years now. Just very unique voice, but then also the vibes, the instrumentals that she sort of goes for. And I'd seen someone tweet about her earlier today. I just retweeted. I think it was Selecta Suave. Shout out to Selecta Suave. He said that she has these sort of sleeper hits. She's mastered the art of these sleeper hits that become like timeless, and he nailed that on its head. Like it's really what she's about. Like you listen to her projects, and even in the projects you may discover songs that are album cuts that just end up just aging like fine wine. No, I'm a big fan of hers.
Nice. Yeah, that's a well-rounded top 5.
Yeah. Got a bit of everything.
A bit of everything.
But yeah, man, you know what? Shout out to my guy Drizzy still.
Lonely at the top. He ended up on my top 5 as well. I'll give you this is my top songs. I don't know where my top 5 is, but my top songs is the stories. What is stories?
It's long.
I misclicked it. It's the first one I know was Kano. Got my brandy, got my beats. Beautiful song. Double Up, Nipsey Hussle. Late Night Checkup, Xenia Manasseh.
Nice.
Maya Jules versus featuring Tiggs.
That's
Jules.
a classic, man.
Jules. Jules,
yeah, man.
Oh,
Even
man.
getting to meet Jules since moving here was great, and just connecting and stuff.
Bro,
like
I feel like he's a key cog, and I told him this the other day. He's a key cog in West and East musical relations.
Yeah.
Because how he's been like working with East African artists and whatever,
SAUTI
embracing. Zini has worked with before, Karun has worked with before, and then putting them on projects that are his and that are released in London, and putting them with artists like A2 and mixing it up. So he's definitely like one that I don't know has done great things and probably will do more amazing things to bridge those gaps, to help bridge those gaps.
Gotta give him his flowers.
100%. And the last one is Kano and Kojo Fun's Panon Fried. It's not bad. I clearly love Kano. Okay. And I think my top artist, Drizzy was in there for flip's sake. I listened to the Drake album once this year when it dropped, and not the dance one, the other one, the one with 21. No, is it 21?
Yeah. Her loss.
Drake, man. Drake.
Well, I think he's up there for me because of the dance album, because of Honestly Nevermind. I did. Yeah. I liked it a lot. I mean, I created my own version that took out a few tracks.
Okay.
But no, I liked it, and I just like the fact that as big as he is, he decided to take a creative risk, and okay, it may not be the greatest dance album, but as a musical creative myself, I appreciate it when artists decide to take such risk and explore new sounds, it sounded nice. It sounded nice. I think. At first, just seeing the TL and people's initial reaction. We're so quick to give takes these days. So I saw a lot of those reactions, and I was like, doubting myself for liking it. It happens sometimes. You like something and you see the general consensus.
Good art, though. Good art is meant to it's polarizing. You either really like it or you don't. Yeah. That's great art. You know what I mean? So if you don't like it, that's good. There's a reaction.
Yeah,
a great art should have that reaction. Yeah, so I agree.
I was just like doubting myself, and then I started to see more and more people on the TL say, you know what?
There's a couple bangers there,
Not a couple, but like I said, this project is actually really sense, and that happens a lot with Drake's projects, by the way. I mean, I have my reservations about some of the subject matter, some of the songs, and just do also want the guy to kind of grow up, but. Yeah, the music sounds good.
That's what annoys people. Though.
Yeah, no, I get that.
That's what annoys me sometimes. And I'm a big Drake. Well, I say I am. I don't know if I am anymore, man. I do appreciate Drake a lot for what he's done. Like, I've seen that growth. I've seen that maturity. But I feel like it's got to a certain point where I don't know if we're growing together anymore. I don't.
No, I hear that.
You know what I mean? Like, you see, from listening to Drake, like I started listening to Drake maybe when I finished school, college times. So. That college to uni to work and that progression, it's been Drake the whole time. Yeah. And then now I'm getting to a point where I'm like, where am I going now? Like,
but that's long, man. Who else has ever sustained you for that long?
Well, Jigga has.
No,
he still has. And he's still. And I'm still listening to Jigga. I'm joking. To be fair, I'm chatting shit. No, you're right. I mean, it gets to a point where he has to now start appealing to the TikTokers and things like that. He has to appeal to the.
He's also. I mean, at least like a few years older than me, so he's also like a bit. He should be in like a different space, but
he was in my fourth. Okay, so mine was number 1, Pot of Paper, ridiculous. Yeah, like oh man, I was actually it was in the 0.5 listeners of Pot of Paper.
Nice.
I love that guy, man. Big fan. Nipsey Hussle, Kano, Drake, and Nines. I don't know how Nines got in there, but big up to Nines as well. But yeah, that's my top 5. But yeah, I feel like musically this year, did you have an MVP for the year? It doesn't have to be East African. It would be nice if it was East African, but like a someone that really stood out and had a great year for you. And it doesn't necessarily mean charts or whatever, but just release really good music.
Well, I'll come back to Maui Moon again. From Uganda with Love.
Great
project. I know it came out in February, but that is 2023, and it is something that I have come back to and plugged into 3 different sort of kinds of Pineapple Undertones mixes,
Right.
Afro poppin',
Right.
rhythm and boo, and East Side Love Song.
Yeah.
I think that also speaks to his range, his you know, how versatile he is. But I think also having that personal connection with him and just knowing the process that he's sort of gone through to get there.
Yeah.
I'm also just very proud of it as an accomplishment.
Nice.
But it's also like a statement that like we've got quality music coming out of our region, and to see him end up on the Color Show with Groove with me and seeing the reception. You know, I have friends, you know, from different circles who are fans of his, who I know from different contexts, right?
Yeah.
And that just makes me proud as well.
I love that.
But then it also just speaks to just how good
is.
the sound is, right? Because it's not just being pushed by the project's not just being pushed by people from UG or people that know him personally. And I'm just very excited for what he's got coming up. You know, I've had the privilege to hear some of the stuff, and so For the Love of R&B, Volume 1 coming out early next year, inshallah. You know, look out for that. Hashtag For the Love of R&B. Big shout out to you, Maui Moon.
Big shout out to him.
It's definitely up there. I would also say
that's a good one. MVP.
You know, going back to Bien as well in the listening party, when I first heard Too Easy, the single Too Easy, I was very excited because it's like I just really liked the track, but I was very excited to hear him as a solo artist.
Yeah.
And I think that he's really justified that initial excitement with his project.
100%.
And so, you know, congratulations to him as well. You know, adding to that increasingly sort of rich tapestry of East African music that's really going to the world.
Yeah.
So shout out to him for that.
Yeah.
I would say
what about best newcomer?
Tyler.
Okay.
Tyler.
Yeah.
I think that this water. Wow. What I mean, just seeing the records it's breaking and the attention that it's garnered. I mean, it's incredible to see, and you know, big shout out to her with that. I think Joshua Baraka as well.
Oh yeah.
I keep saying people from East, but you know,
but you have to though, because what a year we've had though, man.
Yeah,
what a year
so
we've had
with
like.
Nana
Yeah,
you know how much traction it's had, and just the remix as well. Very proud of Joshua Baraka. He just released his latest project EP, Growing Pains, just came out really fresh off the press. You know, definitely. I mean, he was around last year, but but I think 2023 has been a big year for him. And you know, I pray you don't have as many growing pains. You have growing gains.
Great, I like that.
You know what I mean?
I like
but you know, shout out to him as well.
Big up Joshua Baraka. Okay.
Yeah.
I'll give my MVP to Xenia Manasseh.
Yeah.
What a year she's had. And I mean, she's been growing consistently for over a few years now. But like I feel like this year she really blossomed. Her EP was amazing. Love Hate Part 1. And you know the end of the year with the colors and that colors, man, bro. That tune. What a tune, lad.
Yeah. Love it.
So she had a great year. Who else did I think had a great year?
I mean, Amare for me as well. As my raptor told me, because she also released a project and some really great music on there. Yeah. Very, very diverse as well. I do like versatile artists. Yeah, because they can really carry you through different moods. And different vibes. And I think that's one reason why Drake has been so successful and prominent, right? Bro. And I think he struggles with that in terms of making albums because he has to cater to everyone. Yeah. That's a whole other podcast topic. But definitely Amare as well. Big shout out to her. I also say Rema. Rema is now in that conversation with that big three in Afrobeats.
Superstar, innit?
As in when, they've been saying for the last few years, Burna, Wizkid, Davido. Yeah. Like, I mean...
Rema and Ashake are pushing that now, innit?
Ashake as well, that's true.
And even Thames is there.
Thames, Me and You.
Becoming
This
now
Me and You track,
like a top 5,
this
top
Me
10
and You
discussion.
track is one of my
it.
favorite tracks of the year.
Yeah.
And if that's any indication of what she's got coming, I think she's releasing a new track tomorrow.
Yes.
Man, I am so excited because that's going to age so well.
And even like listening to her talk, she went on Angie Martinez and stuff like that. How the song came about and how the process came about.
Yeah,
it sounds so authentic, sounds so natural. So I'm excited to hear what she's got coming, and even the team that's behind her and the business side of things. They got he looks like he knows what he's doing. You know, everyone speaks very highly of him as well. So okay. If there's one song of the year that you can choose before we cut, last one, because I don't know if I've got one, but
I mean, the first one that jumped out is definitely up there for me.
One song and one tape or one project.
Okay,
one project and one song.
Okay. Song Yawa by Fireboy. It just gets me going. It gets me and it gets me going.
yeah.
Whether I'm playing, whether I want to play it in a set or I want to hear it, like being played, it's just such a mood lifter. Yeah.
Okay.
It's got such a nice bounce to it. Yeah. That's more on like the feeling side than really the thinking. Like I can't just break it down to you rationally. Why I love it, but it feels so good.
It feels right. Okay.
Project.
Okay. I don't know.
To come back to from. Oh yeah, sorry. Go ahead.
No, go on. I'm thinking out loud. Sorry, go on.
From Uganda with Love, man.
Uganda with Love. It's beautiful. I was gonna say Xenia's Love Hate Part 1 as a project as well. So clearly there's something they're doing right.
Yeah. Maui didn't pay me for all of this.
They're free pro. I don't even know.
All love. It's all love.
I hear that, man. From East Africa with Love. Trust me.
Yeah.
And I think for me, Joshua Baraka's Nana is an unbelievable song.
Yeah.
Every time I hear that intro, oh man, it's the same. You know, the thing is though, I heard it for the first time in Kilifi last year, and I was by the beach, and it was and I heard it in the background, and I was like, what's that? And bro, like, since then, every time I hear it, I just get a happy feeling. I feel like I'm in the sun. I feel like it's a happy song. Do you know what I mean? It's a dancey kind of vibey song. So yeah, I think that one. And then before we go, is there anything you want to plug? Any socials, anything like that? Anything got coming up? And I see you got events in Kigali as well. Yeah. All right, let us know about that, man. Yeah.
Well, I mean, the events details still TBD, but on Instagram you can follow us or stay updated on @pineapple_undertones. Pineapple like the fruit, undertones. Under TONES @pineapple_undertones on Instagram, on Twitter @P_ like the symbol _undertones. So P_undertones. We've got events coming up in Kigali. Looking forward to that. Follow us on Mixcloud. Got more mixes coming out on Spotify, Apple Music, Feel Good Friday playlist. Also, if you're based in London, Freshly Pressed is a party that I throw here in London with some local DJs. Shout out to Sweetie, to Tommy O, to Reason. Michael's also on the team. That's Freshly Pressed, PRESS3D.
Okay, lovely. And obviously, the vibes. Nothing serious, just vibes. Follow us on the socials. SAUTI and MASHARIKI. The playlist is on Spotify. Socials, the newsletter's there. You don't know, we'll be out. Till next time. Peace.